If you have been involved in an accident that wasn't your fault, why claim against your own insurance policy? Let G4 Claims help you today. G4 Claims can provide you with a like-for-like replacement hire vehicle whilst your car is off the road. Get your car repaired at an approved body shop or a body shop of your choice. If your car is unfortunately written off, G4 Claims will recover the cost of your pre-accident value and you will be kept in the hire vehicle until you are settled. If you suffer from any injuries, G4 Claims can set you up with a compensation claim and all services are totally free. G4 Claims charge the at-fault insurance company for all their services. They will never bill you or your insurance. Call G4 Claims for any help and advice today. Not at fault claims, made easy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast. Back in the studio today for the big 3-0. We've hit it, episode number 30, boys. Who's worn number 30 for Sellik in recent years? Frimpong. Frimpong. So we're here for wee Jeremy. Rest in peace. We're back in the studio. We took on board for the last time that it was a bit dungeon-esque. We're getting complaints.
We've done absolutely nothing to improve upon that.
We've brought some greenery in. The greenery remains. Look, it's not your studio at the end of the day, so we can't do much to it. But don't worry, over the next couple of weeks, we'll try and do something. And you will notice as well that we're only going to have the one camera angle this week. I was sitting at Castlemilk this morning for a good 20 minutes outside Div's house, ready to pick up. Even you were forwarding him.
Yep.
And he never picked up, never got a hold of him. So here we are with the one camera. We just have to go with it. We're going to roll with it. And it'll work fine. So enjoy. 2 out of 3 is sitting around this table with a ticket for tomorrow night. We're going to be there at Parkhead, aren't we, Kieran?
Yes, we are.
You jealous?
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm a bit gutted, to be honest. I'm even more gutted at the prospect that I'll probably be in the ballot for the West Ham game, which I don't really want to be at, to be honest.
You don't want to be at the West Ham game?
I want to be at a competitive game, so...
If Celtic are watching, I would like to be at the West Ham game as well if possible.
if Ryan wants to forfeit his ticket, we'll take it as a group. We got the text through the other day, Kieran, what was it, Saturday? Just the buzz of seeing that message. I felt like fucking Charlie Bucket running down the street. I felt like Charlie Bucket running.
I felt like his granda hopping out of bed after years of cheating the benefits. But
that's what I said. I made that point the other day.
Ryan was going on to me yesterday. I sent him the video of him dancing, singing "I've got a golden ticket," and Ryan was like, "Fuck that pensioner."
He's a scrounger.
Who's he a scrounger?
He's got fuck all wrong with him, and then he just comes out of nowhere. Like,
he's up there doing a wee hop, skip and dance, man.
Well, he just got the golden ticket.
I prefer the remake anyway, I'll be honest.
Oh, Jesus. That's a poor take. We've got a lot to talk about. It's a massive week for Celtic. It's a massive week in general for football because it's kind of back now. Competitive football is only kind of weeks away from beginning all around the world, or all around Europe, and it's just going to be very exciting altogether. But Celtic, more than ever, are now in a time of, we've talked about this rebuild for months, lads, right? Since way back when Lennon was sacked, we spoke about this rebuild. Kieran, heading into the first Champions League qualifier, are you happy with the position we're in?
No, I don't think any Celtic fan can sit there and say they're happy with the situation we find ourselves in. Is it one that we're surprised by? Absolutely not, because every year, even when we've not needed such a monumental rebuild, as we've put it, we've still never went into the Champions League qualifiers prepared, even though we know every year they come round early. It's not a surprise when they come round early, but it always seems like we're caught by surprise because we've never got the squad prepared for it. And we got away with it for a year or two at the start of Brendan Rodgers, but I mean, it started to creep up on us, and now we're pretty much fucked every time they come round.
These qualifiers this year, Ryan, you've been in a lot of podcasts recently. You're kind of Lana Rhodes in your way around it, but
take it.
But these qualifiers this year, even Ange doesn't sound best pleased. We'll come on to the friendlies, we're going to talk about that, but we're going into this with a back line tomorrow night that might have, and you know what, as much as we can say it'll consist of Ralston, Welsh, just Ralston enough makes me go, how are we here? How have we landed ourselves in this position?
I mean, a lot of us were joking that the back four could have been Ralston, Beaton, Welsh, and Taylor.
That's
actually quite a favourable one now when you look at some of the other options we've got. It's a bit of a nightmare. It's a complete nightmare. What are we doing? Where are the players? Where's the right back that we were promised? That was a matter of urgency, and we've still not brought a right back in. We're going to be playing Ralston in a potential. Well, we could be making 30-40 million if we get to the group stages.
Ralston should not be playing for most Premiership teams, never mind Celtic.
Anthony Ralston would be lucky to get a game for most Championship teams, to be quite honest. As David Buick put it to me yesterday, he wouldn't get a game for Dunfermline.
It's not trying to be horrible. The boys had his chances to go out on loan and prove himself and come back, but every time he's came back, the exact same, if no worse. I mean, he got a contract for shouting in Neymar's face, and everybody was lapping it up. Honestly,
look, if it was Ralston on one side and Taylor on the other side, you'd think that's a bang average full-back lineup for Kilmarnock. How is this a Celtic lineup? How have we got these full-backs that are starters now for Celtic? It's an absolute nightmare. It needs sorted.
I know we're getting linked with defenders, but it's supposedly they're going to be done soon. But I mean, why are we never ever getting these signings that we know we need in on time?
Well, we've heard this, that, and the next thing about negotiation here, negotiation there. We've been linked with umpteen players and all the rest of it. There has been, and I don't want to go all out and just attack Dom Mackay, but there has been questions thrown in over the boards so far, handling of this transfer window. The same old problems are starting to creep up. Does that make you worry, Ryan? Do you think that there is just a sort of, I don't want to say lack of care, but there is certainly some form of negligence there, that they haven't looked and assessed this team well enough heading into what is this competition at the end of the day, right? I think we all accepted Celtic weren't going to be in the Champions League this year, right? We all know that. We'd be fucking lucky if we get Europa League at this rate. We all knew we weren't going to get there, but at the same time, it's a competition that's worth £40 million. You'd think that the board would put a bit more time and a bit more effort into investing into a squad that could potentially earn them £40 million.
Yeah, I don't like the negligence of the Champions League, I'll be honest, because these are the sort of teams that we should be challenging ourselves against. Because we can't get better if we're playing. To be fair, the Europa League has got better over the past couple of years, but Champions League is where we should be aiming for first and foremost, and then if we've got the Europa League, then that's a sound backup. But it's important that we get through this first tie, because if we win this first tie, we're automatically guaranteed European football until Christmas time. So
I mean, we've struggled in previous attempts in the Champions route, so we now find ourselves in the actual harder route to get into the Champions League. So I mean, do we really deserve to be in a tournament like the Champions League if we're feeding for our lives against teams like Midtjylland? That, no disrespect to them, they're a decent side, but if you've got realistic ambitions of being in the Champions League, you need to believe that you can beat these teams.
Exactly. And do you know what the thing is? Even a few years ago, if we go back to when Rodgers was in charge, if we drew Midtjylland, I'd been reasonably confident of getting past them. But we've got to this position now where we are saying, and this is me being completely honest, I don't think we will beat Midtjylland. I don't think we'll be in the next round of the Champions League.
I mean, it's alright to be hopeful, but I mean, realistically, when you look at the squad we're going into the game with, I mean, unless we pull it out the bag at Celtic Park and get a good result, I know away goals aren't counting in, so
I'd have scrapped. Is that starting for now? Is that away goals just gone?
I think Cluj benefited for it in the qualifiers in the last round. I don't know if they're the first team to benefit for the new rules, but I certainly seen that it worked out for them with the away goal thing. But I don't know, because as you said, in the past, teams like Midtjylland we should be beaten, but I mean, they did make it all the way to the group stages last year, beating some decent teams on the way into it. So I don't know, you can't underestimate any opposition. Obviously it would be foolish, especially for us to do that, because it would be an absolute cheek for Celtic to try and say, oh, it should be an easy game. There's no easy game for us in the world,
I guess there's a hard balance between saying how much Midtjylland have probably improved over that time, and then how much Celtic have degraded in that time. So there is that kind of hard balance there. But let's talk about the game itself. The fans are back, as we know. Well, not completely. We've got 9.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, Ryan. Where are you going to be watching tomorrow?
Through my fingers, watching Premier Sports if the feed is good enough.
I blacked out a couple of times,
that was awful. I mean, it wasn't too awful because I wasn't watching the game. I mean, I got that sort of respite. I didn't need to watch this for a couple of minutes.
This is a man. I didn't have to watch it yet. He was presenting the live 67 Hail Hail show afterwards. Nice. There you go, Hamish. There's your man doing his work there.
There's no need for that. why are you trying to undermine me? I feel like Mary Queen of Scots here, getting undermined by Elizabeth I, man.
Whoa. Comparing, that's a comparison. That
none of that monarchy pish on ours.
Sorry boys.
Keep that
If
for
you know your
67
history, you know what I mean.
keep that for your other shows. No, but in all seriousness, in terms of the game, what was I even saying before we ended up fucking talking about? Fans are going to be back. 9,000 are going to be there. Who's destroying the set? There's going to be 9,000 there. Let's be honest. As good as it is, as two of the people going to be there, it's not going to make a massive difference. It's 9,000. It's a near empty stadium still.
It's going to look dreadful. I mean, 2,000 looked awful.
Well, Jesus Christ.
I don't even know how it's working, because obviously we are talking about the fact that we've booked up in the group of 3, we've applied for it, and yet we're all sat separately. Is that because we're for different households, or I don't get how that works?
It's baffling to me, because you should be sitting in your match day group, surely. Like,
I'm sat 3 seats away from David, and you're sat
fucking 20 seats away, like,
and then the row behind or whatever. So
let me read out. Here we go. Let's have a quick reaction to this on podcast. I was about to say on stream. I'm not streaming. This is the squad that has been registered for the Midtjylland tie. I believe that the 2 wild cards have. You know how you can add in 2 players? That's past now, isn't it? Like, this is the final squad.
Is it not 24 hours before? Oh wait, the game's tomorrow.
The game's tomorrow.
So
I think
it's probably past.
I think this is the squad.
Me,
so let me read out the squad to you. So everybody watching at home tonight that might have not seen the squad, the apparent squad, we're going to go from very quickly. Vasilis Barkas, Scott Bain, Ross Doohan and Connor Hazard. Defenders, Christopher Julian, Greg Taylor, Bolly Bolingoli, Ozazio Origide, Anthony Ralston, Leo Hjelde. Midfielders, Nir Beaton, Ismaila Soro, Tom Rogic, Luca Connell, Liam Shaw, Callum McGregor, James Forrest. Forwards, Leigh Griffiths.
He's still here.
We've got Leigh Griffiths, Albin Ayeti, David Turnbull, apparently a forward, Ryan Christie, Mikey Johnson and Oddson Edouard. We're fucked.
to put it lightly.
To put it lightly.
Is that the B squad when we announced the first team, man?
That team, that's not number one, a Champions League team.
No.
But number 2, it's not a team that I'm very confident of making the Champions League, or even, I don't want to be constantly negative, but that needs reinforcement to make it past teams like Midtjylland. These are the mugs. They were in the group stage last season while we struggled and were the worst team in the Europa League group stage.
Yeah, it's not looking great. I was a bit surprised you went to me there for some reason. I don't know. I was in a wee daydream, still thinking of that sound effect.
As soon as you said worst team in Europa League, I just thought back to the Sparta Prague games, and I just started getting flashbacks.
But noticeable, before you go any further, noticeable omissions. Christopher Ayer is not there. Olivier Cham is not there. Welsh, Henderson and Dembele will be on list B, so are they there technically? Yep, so they're there. So there's the noticeable omissions. Go on what you were going to say, Ryan.
It's not great. See, when you put out a team like that, when you put it out on paper like that and you look through it, our lack of depth is incredible. I mean, even depth. We've got some positions we don't have any depth at all. We've just got players that just should not be playing for Celtic. I mean, I don't want to get on Ralston's case too much, but at the same time, it's very difficult not to. He's not a Celtic quality player. He's hardly a Premiership quality player. Never mind Celtic. It's a bit of a disaster. You've got some guys that I didn't expect to be here this season that are still just hanging about, which is a bit problematic. I guess if they've got the right sort of attitude, then they can get a second chance. But there's so many of those guys that I just did not expect to be there this season. It's not great at all.
Yeah, any thoughts, Kieran? Buzzing, mate.
Oh, aye. Buzzing for a wee pint before the game. But
that's got to be the highlight, innit? The game's just a bit in the middle where you're like, well, we'll get
the
that
inconvenience.
I know, I might just stay.
I mean, hopefully we do go out and get the result, and it would be a very welcome surprise. Hopefully we do, but realistically, when you're looking at a squad, it doesn't fill you with the confidence that you would normally go into a game like this way. So it does kind of dampen the mood a wee bit when you see that sort of getting announced. I'm also not happy with the inclusion of Leigh Griffiths in that squad. I mean, it's a very hot topic now. Really should be an open and shut case, but you've still got a lot of people out there.
Facebook.
You've got a lot of people trying to die on the hill of backing Leigh Griffiths, and it's just such a strange hill to die on. Like, why go out your way to do that?
I know. You can just accept the fact it's over. It should be over. Let it pass and move on. That's as easy as it is.
Advocates before any of this happened. to no give Leigh Griffiths the extension, because it had done nothing to prove that he deserves it. But obviously you had the people thinking on his day he's a brilliant striker, he'll bag us however many goals if he's given the chance and all that. He was benched because he had Edward and Dembele. I'm like, I just knew he was going to do something to... Yeah, you just knew there was another disaster.
Maybe not to the extent it did happen,
no,
right?
I mean, you could never have predicted that, but the guy's a waster, honestly, because how many chances has he been given with Celtic and how many has he thrown back in our face? Everybody thought, right, he's scored it now, hopefully he doesn't fuck this one up.
Within days. Was it even 48 hours?
Sort of in the same sort of timeline as when he get re-signed. No,
but he's in this squad now. That's the thing. He is in this squad, which would suggest to me. Now, the last thing we heard was Ange Postecoglou saying, "I've not thought about it. I'll go back. No giving a minute of thought. We'll go up the road and then we'll see what happens." By this, it looks as though something's happened to suggest that all is forgiven and he will be involved with Celtic heavily this season if he's in a Champions League squad.
I don't think fans will stand for that. I mean, you get a section that will
defend him till the day he dies.
I know, which is a very weird thing.
It's very weird. Just
because
weird.
The police have not charged him, and it's clear to see that it's there. Somebody's no photoshopped that.
I know.
Like, and do you know what? It'll be the same people that were booing Ball and goalie the other day that will cheer Griffiths when he comes back in the field, because it is complete double standards. I mean, how many chances has Leigh Griffiths had? 7, 8, 9?
And this is far more serious than Anthony's. Well,
then gone on a flight to Spain to get your hole. To put it
that is it. Actually, I mean,
that is it.
At least he's going for people the right age.
I was waiting for somebody to say we were all thinking it, weren't we? We were all fucking thinking
but
it.
It's true.
Aye,
act like an adult and don't.
I just think
you're putting the club in disrepute at the end of the day.
I know. I just think it's such a weird thing to try and defend at this point. I mean, you can say, but the police never charged. Now we've got Leigh Griffiths back. Like, why is that the first thing you go to? Like, why is it?
Because he scored 40 goals 1 year. That's why. That's generally the reason why.
The thing for me, the guy is a character and as a person, he doesn't have that many redeeming qualities. He comes across as a bit of a very unlikable character for me.
Who's it said he's not been the same since that guy spoke to him about the flat
about the bendy water? But do you know, controversy after controversy, and yet people still have a sort of hero sort of reputation towards him.
The last thing this club needs is somebody like Griffiths constantly pulling it in disrepute, because we're already in a bit of a state as it is. So, I mean, why do people want this? I mean, I think it really is in the minority now.
Do you expect him to get on the park tomorrow night?
For his sake, doesn't he?
Do you know?
I think he'll get the warm reception.
Oh no, we're getting a warm reception off me anyway. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care how many people get in the comments section and go, "It's shocking the way you talk about Griffiths." The man does it to himself. Yep. Like, we've tried our best time and time again. For fucking 5 years I've tried my best to defend him. It gets to the point where you just can't, you physically can't do it.
Defending the indefensible at this point.
Aye, it's literally, and that's not saying it like, exaggerate. It generally is. Why would I defend the actions? Like, we're getting a bit off. We'll move back to the game a minute. There's the ghost of 10 in a row back again. Nice to have him featured on the show once more. But as for the game tomorrow, how does Celtic approach it? How does it... God, he fucking geese peace earlier. Thanks very much. As you, Kieran, with the fucking coffees.
I didn't even like it.
What is it you went for the day again?
I don't even know. It's the one at the top right.
Something
latte.
Cafe latte or something, was it?
Probably.
Aye.
It's my gran's favourite.
Yeah,
don't like it. Tell your gran I don't like it.
Get her on the show, get her reviewing the coffees. How do we approach the game, Ryan? What do you expect? So, I'm assuming the team is going to be... Right, well, let's have a look at this a bit.
Do hypothetical teams in?
Hypothetically, the team is going to be Barkas in goals. We can agree on that. Anthony Ralston at the right back.
It's got to be.
The centre halves. Who is it going to be? Who's the partnership? Welsh and who?
Beaton and Welsh.
Do you think
if Beaton is fit, then he has to play. Beaton is now a favourable option at centre back. But that is the state we're in.
So Beaton and Welsh at centre half. Taylor at the left back. And the midfield, you're probably talking McGregor.
If Sorrow's fit, then he'll play. If not, it'll be Liam Shaw, I think.
So I think we're going to, for now, we'll say Sorrow though.
Yeah.
We'll go Sorrow.
That's a favourable
Sorrow,
option,
McGregor.
Sorrow, McGregor and Turnbull, is that free? And then does Forrest go in your team? For me, does the difference in quality between him and any other winger Forrest goes in? I don't care if he's not trained.
He's been isolating though.
Don't care. The difference is stark.
For me, I would throw a Badder straight in. I don't
would
even
you?
care.
What about you?
I mean, I don't really know. I just think if we've got the wingers on, I think it just adds the different dynamic to the team. But I don't know if I'd probably throw Forrest in.
I think the difference is scary. We need our best players in the park. I think Abada's got to become a great player, but he needs time to settle. He needs time to be coached. Forrest is miles beyond that just now.
Oh, aye, absolutely. He is, but it's just the fitness aspect for me.
I understand. Right, so we'll say it'll be one of the two anyway. Then it'll be. Do you think Eduardo will start, or do you think it'll be a Yeti?
It'll be a Yeti. Yeti's played every other game.
Okay.
So
A Yeti, would you say a Yeti will start as well?
Yeah, if he's been starting most of the games.
A Yeti then, and on the left, who's playing on the left for you?
I think he'll throw a curveball and play Montgomery.
Think so?
Yep.
Montgomery, I don't know, you've seen Montgomery in some of the games, he's actually looked quite sharp, and he's got the confidence to take on a player, which is something that's been missing for the wingers, especially in previous years. But I mean, I don't know, he's got that, he's young and he's sort of like the fearless sort of aspect, so hopefully that's something that can come into it if he does get thrown in the deep end, because it will be a sink or swim sort of game.
What is Johnson's scenario just now? Is he injured, fit?
Still got glass ankles.
He's just... It's getting to that point now with Ralston. Not Ralston, I said Ralston.
You've just got something. You're ready.
I've got that vendetta or agenda.
God's
against
sake,
Ralston,
I think it's
man.
bad enough for Griffiths, man, isn't it? Jesus.
You see Johnson. Johnson's getting to that point where like potential can only take you so far. He's now getting injured. I can't remember has he played 10 games in a row?
I don't think so.
Every opportunity he gets, he always ends up injured. But unfortunate, to be fair.
He always looks all right. I know you don't get the hype around him, right?
I've never really bought into it, to be fair.
But like, he shows that he can beat a man. He shows he's got skill. He's got a good shot on him. And then maybe 2 or 3 games later, he picks up an injury, and then we're back to square one, and then we look terrible down the left-hand side unless we've got a good replacement.
See, I felt bad for him at the start of the 1920 season because obviously I remember him scoring that goal against Sarajevo away from home and that, and then he ended up, I think he set up Edward's goal at Ibrox in the 2-0 win, and then I was thinking we might actually get a wee run here. Then we signed El Yunusi and he got injured, so it just seems to be the story his career at Celtic so far.
Do you think if he's fit he plays tomorrow? Unrealistic, or do you think it will be Montgomery?
I think he's got the advantage here.
If he's fit, then yeah, we'll play left winger.
Another shocking conversation to be having, to be quite honest, heading into a Champions League game. We should have a left winger.
That's the thing. At Celtic, we keep saying we want to see sort of these prospects getting a chance and that, but you want to see them getting a chance based off merit instead of having to throw them in because we've not got anybody else in the team.
Yeah, it felt like it wasn't warranted when we had the whole Dubai debacle. And we threw all of them in, and we just had too many of the youth players around the first team at that point, and then the team just looked lopsided, and we dropped points.
So we're trying to get the right balance.
Right, okay, so that is the kind of the structure of what we're going to see in the team. Number one, it doesn't seem good enough. We've been through that. Number two, how do they approach the game line? Is it be a bit more cautious with that lack of defensive ability? I don't
think we will. I don't think
throw balls to the wall.
I think you need to. You're at home. You need to go for it and get a good result, because I mean, even it's scary, but because how vulnerable we're going to be left at the back by actual gone sort of. I don't want to go pure FM here with all out attack, but I mean, I think we will need to try and score
more. I know it sounds Michael Owen, but we need to score more goals. Not just score more goals, we need to score a good few more goals. Like, I think you're talking about Celtic to guarantee any chance of getting something away from home. I think we need to win by 3 goals, man, or something like that. You know, I don't think 1 or 2 is good enough. I think you're looking for a comfortable win.
It's just, I don't know what sort of pace Midtjylland have got. I'm not going to lie and say I've done all sorts of research into their team, but in terms of like hitting us on the counter attack, I don't know how vulnerable we're going to be in that aspect, because that's something that I'm quite fearful of. No matter how much we control the game, it could just take one lucky ball.
Do you think this team is good enough? And I know you're dying to speak, Ryan, but do you think this team is good enough to take? And this is because people will be like, Celtic aren't they that bad? Because I've seen the conversation of right now, are we guilty of maybe, not just us specifically, I mean Celtic fans in whole, are we guilty of maybe overestimating Midtjylland? Which could be the case. Maybe we're looking at our team and going,
it's that bad. Overestimate them than underestimate them.
Absolutely. But do you think our team right now is strong enough and deep enough in quality to win 1-0, 2-1 and go away from home, hold on to that? Even a 2-0, do you think we're good enough at the minute?
Even the best Celtic teams I've seen the past
are not capable of that. We know that. Exactly. Look at was the prime example at the time we got through the skin of our teeth. Was it Astana? Beersheva, that was it.
Both of them, to be fair.
And
Astana was a bit of a tight one as well.
This is a team that in Champions League qualifiers have shown at their very best need 3 goals or such to
hammer on the bay for them at home.
Never mind their very worst. So I feel like I've got logic in everything I'm saying here. I don't see how I could be.
That was in the last qualifying round.
Yep.
To get into the group stage, we're playing teams that we would play in the last qualifying round
and the first round.
First one,
yep.
or the first one we can get into. So it's a bit of a nightmare. But going back to Michelin's team, they've got that former Celta Vigo player, Pione Sisto.
Yes, good player.
He is an absolute pace merchant. I mean, you saw him against Man United.
Did somebody go for Brentford to Michelin? Because I feel like I seen something. I was at a different team because I seen him talk about getting them into the Champions League. I don't know if he was like a proper first team player or what, but
it's usually the other way about too. Because Michelin or Brentford sort of feeder club.
Because I don't know, look it up, because I remember seeing it was like a news article, like, you know how you always get the ones that I'm going to
I typed in Brentford to Michelin and it's gave me a 15-hour car journey to get from Brentford to Michelin. Onyeka, Brentford set to sign Nigeria international from Michelin.
I thought there was one the other way about, because I remember
probably will be.
You know you always get the articles and it's like somebody, whoever Celtic's playing in Europe in the Daily Record, like, we're going to knock hoops out of your typical, like, we're going to breeze past them sort of thing. I don't think he came out and said that, but I don't know, I just thought there was some player that moved for.
Well, anyway, continue with what you were saying, Ryan. Pace merchant, Pione Sisto, rest of the team.
Obviously we know Sviatchenko, we know his strengths and weaknesses. His weaknesses he can't really help with because it's his speed and his height, so we need to attack that. But do you know, apart from that, I'm not really too, I'm just having a look at the names there. We've got a couple of like foreign names there to go with the sort of where are they from? Denmark. Sorry, I am in an absolute trance this morning. Do you know, it's a Monday morning. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about Michelin, but they'll be dangerous. These teams are dangerous. They usually get 1 or 2 sort of designated players that are there to cause damage. That's what you get with these Scandinavian teams. And
one thing I've heard a lot about them from when they played Rangers specifically, which was only 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Very good from set pieces, which Celtic are not great at defending. So that's not ideal. We need to be alert in these situations at the back, because the big booker Neil Lennon's defending last year saw us conceding goals from corners every game, every week. We don't want to start the season off by conceding from a set piece straight away.
It's not the tone you want to set. And before I go with that, Henrik Dalsgaard. That's
the one.
Thank God I found that. I knew I was.
Is that annoying you?
Just to go back to the squad list, Abada wasn't in that squad, although the deadline is 11.
Wait, did you see what? Because
19.
Do you even need to register people that are 19?
Oh, actually, yeah, because under 21s get registered. Did I know?
According to Football Manager.
That's what we base all our knowledge on.
Everybody has just turned off the show. For me, I think Celtic, let's to kind of end off the conversation heading into this as we hit the half-hour mark. Celtic, for me, we need to attack the game. We need to score a lot of goals if we can get the possibility to do so. And we need to just be very cautious at the back in terms of that concentration. It can't turn off. No. Because it done it so often last season, where literally you could defend well for periods of the game, but then there would just be that one segment of the game, everything just turns off, the whole back line shut down together, and that's when teams get in behind. And Pione Sisto, for talking sakes, he'll love that. He'll love wee Ralston Sleekman the right hand side. He'll take advantage of that, and he'll go in and he'll punish us. So it is about keeping that concentration level high, and truly this is a big chance. And what we've not really spoke about is this is the first competitive game for Ange. This is technically the first game that matters. This game is a big chance for all these players to now, and I know they've been trying in friendlies to impress them, but think about the chance now to impress them on a competitive level.
Hopefully people do step up and take that chance, because you don't want to leave a guy hanging out to dry after one game, because I'm already seeing a lot of people that were unhappy, more on the Facebook side of things. You know, I went on, had a wee gander in the comments and on some of your Celtic FC to the core pages and all that, and it's just, you've seen a lot of people, no hunters, but a lot of people getting a bit unhappy with the results and that in pre-season and like that. But I understand, like, the results don't really matter in pre-season. It is about getting the fitness up, but obviously people are going to be annoyed if Celtic are not beating teams like Preston, but I'm not reading too much into pre-season. I never do. These are the games, the game tomorrow is the games where I start taking notice. Christ
almighty, we won the Wembley Cup in 2009-10 and we ended up having the worst season we had in a decade.
What's
or
a
whatever.
tournament?
That was the first season I had my season ticket.
Oh, unlucky.
Mine was 2008-9, I think.
Mine was the year after Mowbray, Lennon's first full season.
Some good football was played that year too.
But to end off this segment of the show, I know we don't like jinxing things, so I might not even ask your predictions for the score or the result. I'll leave that out. But basically, just to wrap it up, can we do it tomorrow night? Well, of course we can.
Aye,
I
obviously
think we can. It's just we're very pessimistic because of the last game. I think we would be going into this a lot more.
I think a lot of people in the comments might be thinking, oh, they're maybe being a bit doom and gloom about it. But I mean, after the past year, it's hard for us to try and be confident going into games, especially when we've got the squad that we've got at the current moment. I know there will be improvements made upon it in the coming weeks, but in the here and now, it's going to be anything's going to be a tall order to try and get past any team, because everybody that we're going to be playing are in the same mindset that we can be in the Champions League group stages, and everybody's got the right to try and sort of push on and get there. But you don't want to underestimate teams, especially normally at this sort of stage of playing teams. Obviously Rangers are going to be in the route we usually have and get the sort of the easier teams, even though we've not made it look easy the past few years. So I don't know, at this round you would like to think we could get them through, but you need to keep in mind that we're in a completely different route to the Champions League now.
Very well put, Mr. Old. Thank you.
I was just going to say, and it's horrible to say this, and I don't want to big them up too much, but I think Rangers are in a much better position to qualify for Europe than we are.
Nice, on the Sellik podcast.
I'm sorry, but they've just got a settled team. They've not really added too much to it, or they've not seen anybody go the other way apart from the guys that they weren't really playing. So they've got a settled sort of team that they can bring into European competition, and I mean, I guess we'll see how they do. Good for the coefficient and that, innit? Well,
Rangers have just found out that they'll either face Malmo or Helsinki.
It's not the easiest of draws they could have got, but if you've got any ambition of being in the Champions League, it's teams you need to be beating.
Yep. Right, okay. I want to play a quick game with you. I could have said that in a really menacing voice. I want to play a game. And I'm going to play this game. We're going to call it... I seen this on Stretford Paddock actually, and I thought it was quite good, and I just crossed my mind this morning. And they were doing it with like the younger players who've had a run out in the friendlies. We're going to play loan, keep, or if you really want to, sell. Okay. So you can loan them out, you can keep them at the squad for this season, or if you really want rid of them, you can sell them. And I'm going to do it with the players who could be up in question marks, right? And we'll try and fly through it as quickly as possible. Literally just say what first comes to mind. If you've got any wee explanation, feel free to throw it in. Ross Doohan.
Loan.
In fact, no. I would want to keep him as third choice, but put Hazard out on loan.
Right, okay, so Hazard is what I was coming to
I'll
next.
agree with that.
You agree with that? Cool.
Sure.
Okay. Volleyball and goalie?
I think keep.
Keep just now.
Osasi Origide?
Keep just now.
Aye, just because it was a bit early.
He is raw as fuck.
Lee O'Connor?
Keep.
Dane Murray?
I've not really seen too much of him in the friendlies, so I don't really have a judgment.
I'm going to say loan because I expect Starfelt to come in.
Okay. Adam Montgomery?
Keep.
Anthony Ralston?
Sell.
No hesitation whatsoever.
Sorry, Tony.
Who else is on the midfield? Olivia Cham?
Looks like it's going to be a sell.
What would you do though?
We can't even loan him out because then that would make sense. It's either a keep or a sell.
I'd sell him. I don't really. I'm not buying too much into the whole keep him, see what Ange can do. I mean, I'm not too bothered if he stays or goes. If he stays and sort of plays, I'm not that bothered. But
cool. Luca Connell.
Realistically, I think it'll be a loan.
Loan, yeah.
Okay. Liam Shaw.
Keep.
Aye, keep.
Scott Robertson.
Loan.
I'll say keep because he went on loan last year. I want to see what he's got.
Nice. Okay. Ewan Henderson.
Loan. Everybody always bigs him up, but I mean, I think he could probably be doing with going out on loan and proving.
Loan or sell, I think.
Sell? Oh wow.
Just for the benefit of his career.
Alright, cool. Kerr McInroy.
Sell. Because he wasn't good enough at Dunfermline, so he won't be good enough here.
Okay. Leigh Griffiths.
So
Punt, throw him, kick him off.
And finally, Jonathan Afolabi.
I don't really want to write him off because I've not seen an awful lot, but he wasn't really getting a game at Dundee, so I'm going to say sell.
See, I would much rather he was in the squad than Griffiths because it would send out a better message, but I'm going to say loan.
Okay. Right, that was nice. Thank you very much. That'll be clipped and put on TikTok. Hopefully people like that, because that's where Stretford Paddock put theirs yesterday, and I thought, you know what, that's quite smart. You know, that's good advertisement. Even though I seen it on their actual podcast, and I seen it in the TikTok later on. But yeah, okay, that's cool. Let's move on. We're about 35 minutes through the show, so let's talk a wee bit about recruitment, because we've not done a podcast in 2 weeks, and in that 2 weeks we have passed so many transfer rumours. We've actually passed a few signings. Ryan, you've had the chance to speak to one of those new signings. You spoke to Leigh Griffiths last week. But we've been doing okay. But obviously we still need a lot more. Ryan, your initial reaction to the recruitment so far, and perhaps the recruitment that seems to be in progress?
I mean, some of the names that get mentioned, obviously the ones that are basically signed now, and Kyogo and Abada, I'm happy with those signings. I kind of looked past the whole Dudu Dahan sort of deal.
Aye.
He looks a good player. He looks like he's got a good shot on him, and at 19 years old he can only improve the team, and he only will improve while at Celtic, playing under Ange's methods and philosophies. But the guy I'm really excited for is Kyogo. I'm not going to say his second name because I've been butchering it. Furuhashi. I've been butchering it the past couple of days, and I just feel like it's really offensive. I don't know. I've got that sort of brother.
I tell you what, I don't know if it is right, but the video that, see, the Celtic transfer talk I done saying that I've signed Furuhashi, I don't know if the Japanese have just found that video and have been piling in to watch it, but since that video the subscribers have went through like that, and the views, I think that's like my most watched Celtic transfer talk ever.
Maybe our man for the Tokyo CSC's been sharing it.
He's got it on the
wee guy we met in Rome that gave us the...
I told that story the other day. I told you it, didn't I? About the wee guy. I was still mad. I can't believe that.
Still got the wee badge.
Same wee badge it gave us. But look, we'll go through them one by one. Kieran, first of all, as well, though, what's your reaction so far to the recruitment? Of course, it's not happening maybe as quick as we'd like it to.
The timing's obviously off, as we alluded to there. I mean, because it's just we never seem to get it in time, and it's horrible that we've grown to accept that. But I mean, it's good to actually see us getting players in. Whether it's going to be too little, too late for the Champions League is yet to be seen. But I mean, for Furuhashi coming in, you've seen the clips. I know everybody can look good in that sort of highlights package, but I mean, his goal record sort of speaks for itself. It's a very decent return into it. It's like 1 and 2 maybe.
Aye.
So I think that's, you can't really argue with the sort of stats here. Hopefully he comes in and adapts well to the game. You've got some people taking the piss saying, oh, he's 5'6" and saying what he weighs. I'm like, who knows what a football player weighs? That is strange behaviour.
Strange behaviour.
The same guys that take pictures of Christopher Julian at a club or a pub. Did you see that?
No, I did not, no.
There's a sort of Rangers fan taking a picture of Julian, obviously from about 20 feet away, because he wouldn't go near him because he would shit out it. Taking a picture of him saying he's drinking a Red Bull. But have they not seen the sort of stuff you get in gigs? They're branded by Red Bull, the sort of cups.
Oh, aye.
Fannies, VLs, Virgins, whatever you want to call them.
You went right for it there. That touched you
for the
on
top,
a personal level.
Julian's given me a lot of nice moments, so I don't like that. I feel
I know,
like,
of all
See,
people,
I don't really like the whole going up to football players in public, regardless of who they play for. Like, see the videos when it was like Kenny Miller getting it stinking in Asdan. Even
remember what was the one with the chippy?
What Wycombe?
Aye, Jesus Christ. I mean, some of them give you a laugh sometimes.
See, if it's wee boys now, but see if it's fully grown adults going up,
it just makes you like cringe so much at your eyes, and it's like just...
I was going to say lose faith in humanity. I mean, I know you wouldn't do that, especially with like Polish strikers that come into Tesco and that, you know what I mean?
Well, I never done anything cringy. I asked the man for a photo. That was it.
That's a tad
our Tesco's a hub. Our tub.
Kamala in a tub.
well.
Where's the other man, Arzani?
It says our Tesco. Well, I cursed up both Arzani and Kamala because I got photos with them. But our Tesco sees a host of talent. We've had Kamala, we've had Arzani, we've had Julian.
Do you know see El Yunusi?
El Yunusi, and also on a regular basis, I won Jerry McCulloch. So our Tesco sees all the stars of Celtic Football Club.
Did you apply for his job, by the way?
No, I did not. No, I don't. He seems to still be there. We're getting off on into a rabbit hole here. Let's go through the players one by one that we are being linked with and or signing now. You could open it. Oh, do you know who we'll come to it? We've got somebody to talk about. I want to hear everybody's opinions. I just remembered about something in a rumour. You know exactly what
I think so.
You think so. We'll come to him last. Abada, we've kind of alluded to Abada a little bit here. Very much one for the future, would you say, Kieran? Because breaking James Forrester's position in that team and getting into there.
Is he definitely a right winger?
He's definitely a right winger, and at the conference he kind of highlighted a few times that he wants to play on the right wing, didn't he? So he seems to be a right winger. I don't think he's going to take Forrester's place this year.
Maybe not this year, but I mean, I don't know. As we've spoken about in the past, like about a winger's shelf life. I mean, James Forrest, what, 30 now? I can't imagine he's got too many years
playing in the wing left.
Nah. So I don't know. Hopefully it is one that he actually manages to break into the team, but and try to get some fair minutes this season. I
mean, under a different manager, they could see squad rotation as being different. Like one player playing 1 week and the other player playing the next, depending on the opposition. So I still think Abada will get a lot of game time.
See, I think it's important to try and bed players in a bit better, because in the past it's been a case of bringing them on for the last 12 minutes of a game. And I'm like, how are you expecting players to actually really get better? Really, because I mean, see if you don't give them at least half an hour or something at the end of the game, you're bringing them on with 12 minutes to go, and they're not really getting to make an impact. It happened with Klimala even when he first joined. And even throughout that last season, how was he meant to get a chance? Like, obviously end up starting a couple of games, but I think you then need to maybe try and give them the opportunity to start.
Yeah, hopefully Ange kind of changes that. Actually, I never really thought of it like that.
What better acclimatisation than to start him tomorrow?
Well,
just throw him straight in. Why not? Do you know what? I don't want to make him a scapegoat if something bad happens tomorrow, if it's a bad sort of result, but I don't think we've got that pressure.
There's not much to lose, is there? There's not much to lose apart from dignity, but
I mean, it goes far to say it's a free hit or nothing tomorrow. I mean, people won't be that forgiving, but
if we were to lose, say 2-1, you know, I don't think it would be the end of the world. It wouldn't be, and I think we can maybe come on to that.
I don't think a lot of people got to get Ange to stick for.
The
anger's very much directed at the boardroom, because they've brought him in, and it's very clear that they seem to be putting him in the firing line, because he's genuinely not been given the chance to bring in his players at own time. And it's through no fault of his own, but I don't know.
Right, we'll move on to Carl Starfelt. Fabrizio Romano reporting that it is done. It's going to take a couple of days for the announcement to be made, but we should expect it very soon. Good enough replacement for Christopher Ayer, Kieran Auld?
I mean, obviously it's a player that would be lying if we said we'd seen hundreds of them. I mean, the only thing I've really seen, like, in terms of footage, has been a Rangers fan that went through him and made a wee compilation of all his mistakes.
That was nice of him, to be fair.
I know.
Nice.
It was hardly a blooper reel as well, by the way. It was like, what did he make? Maybe 2 mistakes in that game?
Aye.
But it's just, in terms of actually watching them, it seems to fit the profile of a centre half that it would suit Celtic. But I mean, in terms of, I remember when it first got like sort of thrown about, and I seen a guy on Twitter that supports Ruben Kazan, and he was saying, like, for the last like 8 months or whatever, playing for Ruben Kazan, he's been good. But before that, it was about a bomb scare. I'm like, well, hopefully it's not a bomb scare.
It's the Celtic way, but you know, we need bomb scare centre halves, because it feels like every centre half we've ever had over the last sort of, since Van Dijk anyway, you know, Boyata.
Not having that.
What do you mean you're not having that?
Not having that.
What do you mean you're not
best defenders over the past decade.
Boyata was the biggest bomb scare out of them all, easily.
God, he would walk into this team.
Apart from Duffy. Boyata was like, I like, Kieran knows for sitting there for years, I was never a huge Boyata fan. Now, I will admit now in hindsight that he was good and all the rest of it, but when he left, I was not overly bothered, to say the least. It was a bomb scare. It was.
It was better than Sviatchenko by a considerable distance.
That's why
Sviatchenko was bombed out, and I don't care that.
Because Boyata came in the January of the Invincible season, did he not?
Aye,
and
that's right.
We looked really, really solid when he came in.
He was good. He was, but he was absolutely a bomb scare.
I think you're always going to have that, because I feel like Van Dijk was
He's done it again.
I've only done it again.
Silence.
I keep thinking it's something banging on me. Aye, but what were you saying about Boyata? Sorry.
No, I don't want to talk about him too much, because obviously that was years ago now. But I liked him, and I thought the Green Brigade were wrong to boo him, and I cheered even louder when he scored, because I was like,
why? Oh, he was booed because he wanted to leave, didn't he?
I think the whole thing he refused to play against Athens and that. But apparently that wasn't the truth in it. But
apparently that wasn't true according to him. I know he would say that, but two sides to every story.
He's hardly going to say otherwise, is he? Anyway, we're getting a bit off topic. Starfield, I went into Tesco, Asda the other day to get my fags, and the guy, I was wearing my new Celtic fur shirt. What are you laughing at?
You're so cool, man.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm cool. I was drinking, so I'm allowed when I'm drinking. Anyway, I went into Asda, my Sellik fur top, and asked the guy, 20 club, please. And he's like, for a fellow Celtic man, of course. Oh, well, man. He's like, what do you make of it? What are you guys say there?
Was he not going to say?
Yeah, I know.
Is he just going to do his?
It's like the olden days.
I'll clean him, but I'll spin him first.
It's a good Sellik, man. And we were talking about, he was like, what do you make of the signings and all this? I was like, I like the look of the Japanese boy that we're signing. He looks like he'll be good.
Bit of breaking news, by the way.
Oh, right.
Sorry. If we are to progress, we'll face either PSV or Galatasaray.
Oh, well, we're fucked then, aren't we?
Lovely.
We're fucked.
sorry to sort of cut your story there.
My anecdote, my podcast type anecdote. Anyway, I was talking to the guy, that's what it says. And then I don't know how, it's one of the things that sounds pure, stereotypically like bullshit. Yeah, it's like, I'll tell you one thing, Starfield, I watch a lot of Russian football. And he's like, I watch a lot of Russian football, and trust me, Starfield is brilliant in the air. Blah blah. I was like, yeah, good. Looking forward to him.
I know, I've seen like he seems like a decent attacking aerial threat as well, especially if he set pieces. But that'd be good. Him and Julian.
Oh, it would be. So that's the thing. Now I was going to ask the question next. Starfield and Julian, does that tickle your fancy?
Certainly does.
It seems like a settled back partnership at the back.
I feel like the thing is Starfield's good on the ball as well, and Julian's got those long passes. So it was all. It sounds a lot better than what we've got just now. I mean, anything sounds a lot better than what we've got now. So, and I keep on checking my phone because I just expect the Starfield sort of announcement to come. I don't know. I just feel as if he's going to be one of the spaces that we use. Maybe because he'll get brought in for the second time.
Does he not need to quarantine? Like, how does it work? Like, see, with elites, like, I don't know if they're exempt for it.
It's for different places, isn't it? Though.
I know, but I'd imagine Russia is probably on the amber list. Which, I mean, I think the whole requirement, if you're new with the restrictions dropping that to get into England. So if he was to fly into England, if he's double jabbed, you don't need to isolate. So I don't know how that's working. I don't know the vaccination process in Russia.
I will maintain that we need another centre back as well.
Yes, I'll start. I can't believe that we're not being linked to any more just now, because we really fucking do need one. And then Kyogo Furuhashi. I am buzzing about this one. Kieran, we've been ranting away in the group chat, talking about how we've got a good feeling about this. I mean, you don't want to jinx him, but
nah, you don't. I mean, hopefully, I don't know. It just fits the profile of the sort to get fans excited. I mean, a goal scorer in a foreign league that, I don't know. It's the sort of excitement of the unknown. You don't know if he's going to come in and be a superstar at Celtic, or if he fall like some of the other ones have. But I don't know. Everybody's sort of got this sort of excitement about it, and it's nice to have that about a sign. I think it's got us an attacking sign as well. It's got the sort of makings of something that can get the fans on side. I'm buzzing just for the thought of Nakamura's regen being at Celtic, being that tricky winger. Of course, Ian Crocker shouting down the microphone, the man from Japan. I'm buzzing it like that, Ryan.
I know, but I don't want to get into that too much. I don't want to sort of go into those sort of like familiar sort of sayings and that. I want him to be his own man.
Of course. But then again, Nakamura is like one of the greats.
I would say he's a cult. Well, is he a cult hero? He was just a hero.
He's just amazing. He's just one of the best Celtic players in the past 20 years.
I would say actually Nakamura was quite underrated as well, because people remember the free kicks, but they sometimes maybe don't mention how good he was in the ball. He's
the technical ability was second to none.
He was absolutely brilliant for us.
In his team anyway.
I'm really buzzing for Furuhashi. He's a guy coming. I mean, he's older than what I thought he would be.
26 or something.
26, in the prime of his career. He's
going to slot into the team.
But see, the fact it's no somebody that, well, I mean, I suppose he could, if he comes in as a brilliant season, he could get interested in South, but with the age sort of thing, if he was maybe 22,
it's like Nakamura in a way, isn't it? Like I know we've just made that comparison.
I just like the idea of Celtic signing somebody for getting the prime years out of somebody.
I tell you, see if Celtic signed Nakamura when he was 21, he would have only been at Celtic for 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Instead, he came when he was about 27, I think, or something like that. Stayed for a good while. He stayed till he was like 30, 31 at Celtic. So
still kicking a ball.
Still kicking a ball.
I was reading a thing about sort of Celtic sort of tapping into the Japanese market, but there's somebody from that neck of the woods was saying there isn't as much of a market to tap into because there's so many Japanese players playing in different parts of Europe now. It wouldn't be the sort of like isolated sort of example of a Japanese player playing in Europe because there's so many spaced out.
See, I feel like as soon as a player comes there, but I think you see it. Murphy, like obviously Son at Tottenham for South Korea, and obviously he's like the biggest star in that team. I'm not saying Furuhashi's going to be he's not the biggest star in the Japan team or nothing. He's only got like 6 international caps, I think. But I mean, you can already see with the whole thing on Twitter with all the followers and that, it brings a new sort of dynamic to who's like following the club and that. And Celtic coming out and say they're going to make a Japanese Twitter account.
Just took the fire right out of me there, man. I was going to say the exact same thing.
Nuts.
It's good though. It's good that it is good that we're tapping into that market.
It's a market that we obviously had maybe over 10 years ago, but now it's sort of came back with the signing of Furuhashi because as soon as Nakamura left, we never had. I mean, we had other players for Air Asia like Koki Mizuno and Jiang Ji and
heroes, man, heroes.
Dewey,
that's right.
Chaduri.
Don't you?
No, I didn't even say Key.
Key, of course.
I thought Key was a great player.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when he always put a tackle in? That's something you don't really expect. I know that's stereotypical.
I just miss the sweatbands, man.
Aye.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing him. He will be your starting left winger, you'd imagine.
Aye.
Imagine. Left winger / striker.
Well, he can play anywhere on the front three, can't he? Apparently, so.
I mean, I would quite like if there's more in the Lovrich sort of deal. I'd like him to play left wing and then Furuhashi up front.
Is he actually following Celtic on?
He done the research. He's on the ball, isn't you?
Is
that all you do all day? Just
honestly,
listen.
See that screen time thing that comes up on your phone? Do you know what mine is that? It showed me this morning. 13 hours a day.
Christ,
out of 24.
Jesus Christ!
And I'm guessing the other sort of 9 or so.
This is what sets us apart. This is these wee conversations. You know, I love this. It gives a bit of human touch.
I don't think mine got 13 hours in the lockdown.
I think mine on it. I don't even know what mine was in the first lockdown. I think it may have been 8 hours or something.
Mine's got to disgusting levels.
I'm not sure. I can't mind. But at that point, I was trying my best to take a conscious hour of my day and not go. I called it my happy hour, and I wouldn't go on my phone for an hour. I'd sit and watch the telly.
My happy hour involves my phone.
That's Jesus. An hour. That's good. That's great, Ryan. Thanks very much. And finally, no, it's absolutely staying. And then finally, the last player to talk about in regards to Celtic, what bring someone in, or what somebody that looks likely they could come in, Brandon Soppy. Is it likely? Is it unlikely? We're in a sort of weird limbo, aren't we, Ryan?
It was likely until I heard that the French champions Lille were in for him and they were interested. It's one of those ones I would have liked us to just pay the going rate for the player and just bring him in, because it is a matter of urgency. We've needed a right back for months. We've known that we needed a right back since probably John Joe Kenny's second game for us.
No, we know we needed a right back since we signed fucking John Joe Kenny. We only signed him in a 6-month loan. They should have been preparing for this. They should have been looking at the long term. Was the plan to get Kenny in and hopefully he performed well enough to sign him?
I blame the people that pretended they had a good game at Kilmarnock away.
I thought he was okay.
What game was that?
He got man of the match just because he was a new signing.
Is that the one Yeti scored right at the end?
Everybody's like, he's actually quite good. I'm watching him like, he is fucking mince.
You were ahead of the curve.
I didn't think he was dramatically bad. I just thought he was very uninspiring.
Dramatically bad.
He just looked so average in that game.
He was later on.
Drastically bad, maybe.
Dramatically bad.
Dramatic. Was he going to be performance for you?
It was an absolute horror.
You might call that a performance.
I'm having a nightmare.
But from when they signed him, you're spicking. When they signed him, they should have surely known then that they needed 1-2 right backs. Like, why are we now only in a position where we're talking about it? But this should have been happening throughout the process of getting a new manager. Never mind anything else. It just annoys me. Because we're Celtic Football Club. we're the famous Glasgow Celtic.
We've known that we needed a right back since January. We knew we needed a new manager since, even before then, because we knew that Lennon wouldn't be doing the distance.
Yep.
We needed a director of football because we were actively looking for that position. I don't know what's happened with that either.
It's a podcast in itself, that.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be on that one.
We've got no.
It's too depressing.
We've got no head scout. We've got positions that aren't filled, and they're not getting filled quick enough. That was the sort of point that was getting made on that spaces that I was making last night.
That I was
making last night. That was on last night. There was just these positions aren't getting filled quick enough.
Yep.
That's concerning. Why are people not flinging themselves to get these jobs?
Let's move on to the final person I want to speak about. That's a really good point you make, Ryan, but we'll be here all day if we dive into that. So let's just let's move on to that. What time are we even on? We're on 11:35. We've only got 25 minutes left in here, so we better move. Fraser Forster. The name is coming up once more. I see you shaking your head away, but Kieran, I'll let you speak first. I, number one, don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a tabloid story meant to grab our clicks, and that's all that's to it. But let's go in the hypothetical sense here that Fraser Forster could come back to Celtic. What are you saying to it?
I don't know. I mean, it's been met with very mixed reactions. I can understand why people are really sort of against it. I mean, I'm a big advocate, as I've said in the past, about moving forward in terms of re-signing players just because it's what we're used to and all that. And I can sort of understand that. But at the same time, I'm like, Fraser Forster's the best keeper we've had for the past 10 years, maybe longer. So I mean, the guy saved us countless times, saved Neil Lennon countless times, especially in the 2019-20 season.
Yep.
Games against Lazio, the final against Rangers. Some of the performances he's put in has been heroic at Celtic, and everybody can thank him for that. If you're talking to me last season, it was a definite. If we get the option, he needs to come back. Even in January, when there was murmurs getting a loan deal, just take it. People are. I don't really get the whole people pure acting hard done by about, he never came back up. I'm like, see, at the end of the day, you'd bite the horn off for a keeper like him. But if it doesn't fit what Ange is wanting, then I wouldn't want it forced upon him. I do love him as a keeper, love him as a player. I don't really. I mean, obviously, if he came back to try and help win the league last year, it would have been much appreciated, but he never. But I'm not going to sit and hold the grudge about him no coming back, because at the end of the day, he didn't really owe us anything.
Aye.
But I don't know if it's not something that Ange. It just doesn't seem like an Ange signing to me though.
Okay.
Which is the reason why I'm like,
seems sort of last resort-ish sort of thing.
It seems like something he would have forced upon him.
Aye. Ryan, you were shaking your head instantly as soon as I said Fraser Forster.
It cannot happen. Purely due to the fact that he cannot play in an Ange style of play. He's absolutely awful with the ball.
What do you make of people saying he's a goalkeeper? The goalkeeper's job is to stop shots, and he's the best at stopping shots.
But Barkas can stop shots as well.
I don't think he's good as Fraser Forster, but no matter how much I'll try and back up Barkas, no goalkeeper we've had on the same level as.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Craig Gordon on his day as well.
What about Arthur?
Arthur Bort's a brilliant shot stopper, but at the same time, in terms of I loved Arthur
No,
Bort's.
Forster. No, let's be honest. Let's just cut out all the shit for a minute. Fraser Forster's probably the best shot stopper this club has potentially ever seen. In the last century, anyway. In the last in the turn of the decade. So what does that maybe sway your decision anyway, or do you think it is no, Ange needs the players he wants, the players that fits his system? For
me, it sends out the wrong message, because I can't see him fitting in an Ange team at all. I can't. You see the way Barkas plays. He's sort of on the halfway line. Could you imagine Fraser Forster on the halfway line? You couldn't. You honestly couldn't. And if he's just not good with the ball at his feet, it would scream a board signing. And there are other goalkeepers out there other than Fraser Forster.
There's a goalkeeper out there called Vasilis Barkas, and this is the thing that I honestly, if Forster came back, he comes back, I'm not going to cry about it. If anything, I'm like, oh, okay, Big Fraser's back, right, fair, I like that. But I am going to die on the hill of giving Barkas his chance. There's absolutely no point in us spending £5 million on him not to have him as number one keeper. This is now his time. If he doesn't get it this season, I don't think he ever will. So that's the reason I'm against Forster signing.
I do want Barkas to get the chance, but it's the whole thing I'm meaning in terms of Fraser Forster. If Ange actually came out and says, I want Fraser Forster, fair enough. But he's not going to come out and say that.
No.
That's a signing by the board if it is going to be.
That's the problem I've got with it. It screams at the board are making transfers rather than giving Ange what he wants, which will obviously be a ball-playing goalkeeper. He did it at Yokohama Marinos. He played with the ball at his feet as well. You've seen how far out he played. That's just not Fraser Forster's game. I'm so convinced now that Barkas is going to have a breakout season this season, because he's got a guy.
He had a couple of good saves at the weekend.
He was great, especially with the Scott Sinclair sort of incident. I know there was maybe a shout for a penalty there, but he sort of brought Sinclair right out to the edge and pressured him into taking a sort of low percentage shot, and that's great for the confidence. I was a bit concerned that he was taken off after half time, but I guess they were trying to keep him all right.
Precautionary, isn't it? Precautionary.
And then you seen Scott Bain, and you're like,
how
is it's just like Ralston? How is he at Celtic?
Well, once again, a podcast in itself, but that about wraps up basically everything that I wanted to talk about in the main beef of the show, which means we can move into the last couple of segments with the final sort of 10 minutes that we've got here. Last segments of the show. Very quickly, what did you make of the friendlies? Pish.
They get worse the better teams we played. Because you had Sheffield Wednesday and Charlton, we were walking over them, and then we got the Championship sides in Bristol City and Preston, and we struggled a wee bit with them. I know we kind of dominated against Bristol.
When I say pish, I don't even mean pish from a point of view like we were pish. I mean pish like the games were just boring, and like it's a friendly for fuck's sake. Like, I'm not going to care that much, and I think we shouldn't really read into them too much either. So
it's just a fitness test.
Any players stand out to you, Kieran, in any of the games?
I don't know, in the early ones I quite liked Montgomery, the way he was playing going forward, more so in the left wing and that instead of playing at left back, but I know I thought he looked quite sharp.
I thought Cal McGregor really stood out in all the games. He looks like he's got a new lease of life, and Turnbull as well. I've seen a couple
Liam Shaw for me.
Liam Shaw was good as well, but I think he's definitely one for the future, but he's somebody that I would keep in the team for rotation, especially against maybe smaller teams, so he can get acclimatised to the sort of way we play, but at the same time I think Cal McGregor and David Turnbull have been brilliant.
Right, I'm going to give you a question each. He's trying to answer them as quickly as possible, then we'll go on to the end of show quiz. So I'll start with you, Kieran. Mark, the regular contributor in the comments, he's always in and about them. He said, I'd like to know what part of the clusterfuck that's been branded a rebuild is the managers and what is Mackay. For me is undoubtedly, I think there's been a typo here, right? But basically, what part of it has been branded a rebuild? For me, it's undoubtedly decisions above the manager's head that's holding things up. At what point do folk realise the new CEO is as unmoved as the previous?
It's a bit like delegating what sort of bits are for the CEO and delegating what bits are for the manager.
Nah. Are you happy with how it's going? What's your thoughts on Dom so far?
I mean, I don't know. You can look at some of the positive aspects that have came with it, like with him coming in as like the whole fan press conferences and stuff like that. But in terms of like actually, as we said about, it's the board that's holding up all the transfer dealings here. It's not been getting done in time. So in that, it has been a bit of a failure so far because yet again we've went into the Champions League qualifiers with a bare bones team, more so than we have in previous years. So. And this had to be the year that we had to get it right.
Aye.
And we've not got it right yet, so a bit concerning.
Nice answer. Right, Ryan, your question. Do you think Christie's away? Any word on Griffiths' contract being terminated? Right, let's not get you started on Griffiths, but Christie, what do you think?
He's going to go. I mean, I don't know. Was that rumour true about him only having 6 months left in his deal?
I think so.
Aye, looks like it.
Who signed off on that?
No.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
And for somebody to go halfway through.
I know.
What if he was our player of the season? And then he could just go in January to anybody. He could even go. No, he wouldn't go to Rangers, but man, hypothetically, he could.
Crosses the divide.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah,
he just annoys me now. But I think he's gone.
I think he wants away. So
I want him away as well. So
okay,
that makes two of us.
That makes three of us. Martin asks Kieran who should start tomorrow, Ayeti or Edouard?
I think Ayeti will start just because of the game time he's got in the friendlies. I think it just makes more sense.
Fair enough. Nice. Ryan, do you think Ayeti can fit into Ange's style of fast-paced football?
Yes.
He sort of proved himself a bit more in, like, actual chasing the ball down in the friendlies that we've had so far.
One thing I will say, he looks very, very lean, which is great.
He does. He looks as though he has lost a lot of weight, and I like that. But there's been a lot of questions sent in. Thank you, as always, for sending them in. And a quick thank you to our sponsors, G4 Claims, who are, of course, letting us use the space. As always, thank you very much, G4. The shout out was probably at the top of the video, led it in. But it's nice of them to let us out again. This studio's just been a lovely new home, lads, isn't it? A lovely new home.
I love it.
You love it?
Yep.
Don't go slagging off the decor again.
I know. I give a decor a rest. Fuck's sake.
No, that was the thing in the Twitter spaces last night. I pure like talking about that. The fact that we've got a studio now.
Yeah.
I felt pure.
Next thing's to get that fucking telly running so we can put the logo in behind it. They need a HDMI.
Hopefully
cable.
we've got the second camera so I don't need to sit right in front of it.
I know. Hopefully next time that we can sit as normal. But it is time, ladies and gents. it's time for the end of show. But can they play? No, it's not about can they play. It's the.
I knew you were going to do that.
It's
The McKinney plays
the phone-in one.
We need to do a phone-in soon.
We do need to do a phone-in. So, well, the perfect time for a phone-in will probably be sometime after being knocked out of Europe in the next 12 days.
I think Wednesday would be a great day.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's time for the If You Know Your History quiz. It's going to be Ryan against Kieran once more. I think I took part in the last one, did I not?
You did.
You were the quizmaster, so I'm back to be quizmaster. Next week we're going to have to get somebody else to be quizmaster, but if Kieran's here, maybe Kieran, see who's on one of the cams or whatever. We'll see what happens. But we'll do the quiz. And I beat Kieran last time, so Ryan, I'll give you the advantage here. Do you want to go set A or set B?
Set A, please.
Oh, you're going first. You step up first. Kieran, your confidence down after the last one?
Oh, shit, yeah, anyway.
I want to start getting to a league table. Right, okay, we'll get right into it. Let's just go over it. Are you ready? Okay.
Ready.
Question number 1. New Celtic signing, Furuhashi, played with which footballing legend at his previous club, Vissel Kobe?
Iniesta.
Iniesta's correct.
Article about him's got Iniesta mentions somewhere. I know.
Could have been Podolski though, depending on what legend you're talking.
True. Is he still playing?
No.
Retired,
He retired fairly recently.
Aye. Right, okay. Question number 1 for you, Kieran. Leigh Griffiths was given which shirt number for Celtic?
11.
Correctamundo. Scott Sinclair would be proud.
Kamala.
1-1 then. Question number 2, Ryan. Who's the tallest player currently in the Celtic squad? And there is 2 with the same height, so I'll give you if you get any of the 2.
One of them must be Ayer then.
Christopher Ayer is correct. Do I fathom a guess at maybe the other one?
Julian. 'Cause he's
No, it's not
I
Julian.
thought it would be Julian, but it looks heavy lanky as. But
You want to fathom a guess?
I don't know. Barca.
Hazard.
Connor Hazard. That's correct. So Ayer and Hazard are the 2 joint tallest. Okay, so 2-1 to Ryan to make it 2-2, Kieran. Who is the smallest player currently in the Celtic squad?
Dembele.
Correct. Karamoka Dembele, 5'5.5". Tiny man.
I think me and him are about the same height.
In comparison to Ayer, who's 6'5". Massive for a centre half. He's really got everything, hasn't he? He should be better in the air for that height, though. He really should be. Question 3 for you, Ryan. Who scored Celtic's last goal in front of fans? Actually, we never scored at the weekend. So, who scored Celtic's last goal in front of fans?
Cal McGregor penalty.
Wow, you got every detail about it. What minute was it in?
I don't know. I've got the point. I'll leave it.
The 90th minute. I wouldn't have remembered that.
I didn't even get to see that again.
That's
I
right.
actually remember the way we got that penalty because I remember El Hamid running so fast.
That's
to
right.
get the
Aye.
penalty. I was like, wow.
Right. This is a Matthew Duff. Thank you. Big shout out to Matthew Duff who's
This
made the
is even
quiz.
the 100th
As always.
question.
Thank you. It's like who keeps
See if this goes back to the 1800s again.
who keeps count of this, right? How many tweets
Fuck off.
has the famous journalist Fabrizio Romano made about Celtic this transfer window?
5.
Oh, he's got it. Well done. That is 5. You've been counting as well.
I had a rough idea how many it was going to be.
Wow. Well done. I wouldn't have got that. I'd have been like,
I thought he was going to say ever. I'm like, fuck. Up to the nearest 1,000.
I'm enjoying every single one of them. I'm so happy he's on board.
I know. Okay. Question 4. It's 3 each. By the way, good start to this. Cross City rivals Rangers faced Midtjylland in 2019. But what was the aggregate score? See, Matthew's on the... But I like Matthew actually makes the quizzes topical. You know, he does well with this.
Is it something like 5-2?
Wrong.
6-2.
Wrong.
Don't know.
7-3
7-3
was the
I
score.
knew it was really high score.
Aye, so there you go. 7-3 Rangers beat them.
People want Sviatchenko back?
Right, Kieran, to take the lead. Celtic transfer target Karl Starfelt has how many caps for the Swedish national team?
9.
No.
3.
3, that's correct. Aye. 1, 2, 3. There's your answer. So we're tied as we go into the final questions for the 2 of you.
Squeaky bum.
Free
Squeaky bum.
squeaky bum time, Ryan. Lubo Moravcic's last ever 2 goals for Celtic came against the same opposition. Which team was it?
Last two goals. Aberdeen.
Is wrong. Unlucky. Kieran, do you want to have him, I guess?
Don't know. Motherwell.
Livingston is the correct answer, which means, Kieran, and this is a question that I would like if I got it. I would fancy my chances of winning to win the quiz, Kieran.
This is Jorginho.
This is Jorginho against Pickford.
Oh no, don't say that.
Artur Boric made a penalty save against Manchester United in 2006-07. Who took the penalty?
Saha.
Louis Saha is correct.
He gave away the penalty.
Well done, Mr. Kieran Auld, who is the winner of today's, if you know your history quiz. I just had to make sure I got the right name there. He wins 4-3 on the penalties.
It's a close one.
I know.
But the big question is, do you want to put it all on the line?
I need to know that. I mean, where's the fun in saying no?
I would have said no. I said no the last time.
You said no the last time. You're like, nope, I've won. Okay, right. Tiebreaker question. Kieran, I'll let you guess first. How many days, as of July 19th, 2021, has it been since Celtic faced St Mirren with the full capacity?
Let's see.
That's a good question, this.
I don't know. I'm trying to work it out. Right, so 365 to about the start of March. Then how many?
Oh, you don't want to read it all. You're working in case Ryan copies you.
This is a bit sweaty, isn't it?
Aye. Well, it's smart.
490 days.
490. Okay. Ryan McGinley.
I can't do maths at all, man.
470.
I can reveal your winner. If you know your history quiz today on July the 19th is Mr. Kieran Auld, because the answer is 499 days. So it will be 500 days tomorrow when me and Kieran are back in Celtic Park.
My last game in Celtic Park was a Copenhagen.
Oh, well, actually, you weren't there, right? That's right, you were the St Mirren game. You were
precisely the reason why I should be there.
You should be there, aye.
I know.
I'm there and I'm always
My last
there.
game was
Not
what's it
tomorrow.
called? Livy away.
That's right, 2 each draw. That was good as well. Good wee game that. We came back in the bus. Hamilton had just beat Rangers. How things change in the space of 500 days, ladies and gentlemen. That brings us to the end of the podcast today. We thank you very much for listening. We'll be back to talk about what happens in Europe next week at some point. So make sure to like and subscribe. If you are on Spotify, make sure to follow the show. Kieran, Ryan, thank you very much. And, aye, best of luck tomorrow.